Hey, what's up? This is Amanda Kiernan from Into Eternity and the Order of Chaos, and you're listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Brian, this podcast is entirely your baby, the idea, listening to all live music. How'd you come up with this idea, man?
I actually love live music, and there are a couple of aspects that we can explore when talking about this live music. The first aspect is, of course, just the musicianship. Do they play as good as they do when they play in the studio? And obviously it's not going to be the same, but then there's that aspect of it. But then I also love the entertainment value of it. Is the crowd into it? And when I listen to a live track, I consider both of those things. And I just thought it would be interesting to kind of explore this a little bit and just get your take on it, because I know that you and I see music from two different angles.
Well, I'm a huge fan of live music. I look back at my shelf of assorted CDs from over the years, and I bet more than 50% are bootlegs or audience recordings. I just love hearing live music, and especially non-official releases, just tapers who are the hardcore fans who go in and they're like, I bought everything that the band has to offer, I bought their live album, but I want to record this and listen to it over and over again. I love that aspect of it. To me, those are the hardcore fans who want to listen to the 12th show on some band's tour over and over again.
You know, that's cool. I sometimes worry that I'm not getting the best of sound quality, and I'm not actually getting what they actually sounded like. But that's the only concern I would have with those sort of bootlegs. And I will testify and back you up. You have a load of live bootlegs. Let's talk about AC/DC. When it comes to live songs, AC/DC Shoot to Thrill, I don't think there's any better than this one right here.
It's pretty good. I mean, I've seen AC/DC in concert once. They played this song when I saw them.
Yeah, they play it every time.
It's a good song. It's a good rock and roll song. It's very aggressive is the wrong word. It's very energetic.
It is. It's, you know, that's a good description of it. Let me tell you why I like this song in particular, and why I've seen AC/DC 3 times. Absolutely my favorite band in the studio, and absolutely my favorite band live, because they virtually sound the same as they do on the album. Do you notice that at all? Is that something you notice about live, or no?
Well, not always. To me, that isn't a measuring stick. I think when a band goes in the studio, they need to create something for the studio.
Right.
Then when they go to play it live, I think they have some decisions to make about what works well live. So there are some bands who sound identical live to what they do in the studio, and there's some whose live interpretations are quite different. I appreciate bands who can reproduce what they do in the studio live, but I guess I don't hold them to a standard that they have to do that.
And I'm not saying I'm married to the idea that you have to sound the same, but that's just what I love about this track. You know, it's so engaging for me, and it's so it reminds me of times gone by. It reminds me of the present and how much fun that song is just to listen to. I appreciate bands that go for something different. Dave Matthews, that's not a metal band, but you know, he doesn't even play current songs. He plays new songs.
Yeah, I mean, I think if a band writes a certain way and composes a certain way, it's going to lend itself to execution live.
Well, in 16 albums, AC/DC hasn't changed their sound one iota. It's kind of hard to not sound exactly the same live as you do after 16 albums in the studio. Very few bands can pull that off.
Right, yeah. So you're saying that AC/DC's approach is we're going to basically perform in the studio, in a sense, in the same way that we're going to perform this live.
I could see them prepping for both album and concert in the same exact fashion, and I love that about them. And I would say that's very hard to do. I mean, of course, AC/DC has more of the simple, you know, verse, bridge, chorus, you know, but that formula works for them in a way that it doesn't work for a lot of bands. They can do that over and over again and get away with it because they have such a unique sound that works well in the studio and works well on the stage. And by the way, I'll just add this. When I saw AC/DC the first time, Angus flung sweat all over me, and I screamed like a little girl at Justin Bieber concert.
Testament with their track Over the Wall off their EP, Return to the Apocalyptic City from 1993. Brian, I knew this would be on your list because you have long spoken about your affinity for this album and this song in particular.
Hands down, my favorite live Testament song right here. Hands down. I'm gonna put it out there. You know my love of sweeping statements that nobody else will admit to. I think Chuck Billy has the best metal voice of anybody. I love his growl. I love his scream. I love when he talks to the crowd.
Yeah, this is I've seen them 6 times now, I guess.
Wow.
And they play this every time, usually with an invitation gesturing toward the security barrier for us literally to come over the wall.
Cool, cool. Do they start the show with it every time, or has it been in the middle, or?
No, they never started the show with this song.
Yeah, that's what they started this particular one with.
It's a good track. This would be one I would say. You asked earlier about songs that maybe take on a different life live.
Yeah.
I might count this among those. The
a
studio track
yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
But the performance and execution live is on another level. And again, literally inviting the crowd to come over the security barrier, over the wall, usually with the security guys just like throwing up their arms in dismay.
Yeah. I mean, Testament is a band that I've never seen live, but this is, now that I've got this renewed interest in seeing live music and the ability to go do it, I will see Testament. Mark this down. I will see Testament before I die. Soon, hopefully.
If you don't make it over the wall, maybe those two things would happen in sequence.
I could die as I go over the wall?
Exactly.
Man, what a legacy.
That would be your return to the apocalyptic
What a
city.
legacy. You have inspired me. That's how I'm going out. That's it. My death is written.
Yeah, I think I have said before that a great death would be to literally headbang so hard that my head flies off my neck and rolls onto stage.
Dude, I'm supposed to have surgery because I headbanged so hard. A fact that I'm both proud of and ache from every night.
Surgery on your neck or literally on your cranium?
The cranium's gone. You know how that works, man. Good God.
Don't blame that on the headbanging, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I love this track. I love this album, period. Disciples of the Watch, again, I want to go outside and mosh with my neighbors. But since they're a 60-year-old couple, I don't think it's going to work. I may try it someday. We'll see how it goes.
So, Brian, I think you and I have both walked away from this podcast with a renewed appreciation for the live element and what that brings.
Yeah.
And so
entertainment and musicianship.
Excellent. And the raw feel of being there literally at the cauldron as the molten metal is poured out upon us.
That was a great metaphor. Or was that a simile? No, you didn't use like or as. I'm sorry, I went a little school teacher on you. All right. That's it for the Great Metal Debate. Until next time, keep rocking, keep headbanging. We're out.